Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today, and welcome to another Ad Age Gen Z Roundtable. I'm Erica Wheelis, food marketing reporter here at Ad Age, and today we will be discussing Gen Z's thoughts on QSRs, snacks, and groceries. From spicy cuisine to menu hacks, Gen Z loves food. This is a generation of more adventurous eaters who are open to new flavors. They love a sweet treat and fast food. They have seen food trends and creators start on TikTok and move into the real world, impacting grocery sales and restaurant menus. But they also expect more from food brands, including engaging social content and interesting collaborations. A quick reminder that our conversation is led by audience questions. So if you think of one, please drop it in the comments and we will try to get to it. Okay, here to talk food with me today are Jack Haley, social media manager for Chili's Grill and Bar, Zach Pacheco, senior social media manager for Dentsu Creative, and Jess Shu, associate strategy director at Edelman and an ambassador for Edelman's Gen Z Lab. Thank you all for being here. This is my beat, so I'm very excited to talk about this. We're going to jump in with our first question here. And I want to start with, yes, this snacking perception. And Jack, let's start with you here. So there is a perception that Gen Z is more into snacking over the 3 square meals a day. Where do you personally fall on the snacking spectrum? And we'll get to everybody else.
Yes, I'm definitely a big snacker. You can ask my coworkers, like we have a snack cube in the office and I'm there like 4 times a day. So I'm a big snacker. I think it's because like I just see it as like a little treat throughout my day, or if I'm stressed out, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go have some peanut M&Ms or something. And then 2, I think it's also like you can have a little bit of, or you can have a lot of a little bit. So like you can get a bunch of different like snacks if you want throughout your day, but it's not going to be the same thing every single time. So I'm big on the snack spectrum, especially at the office.
Nice. Jess, what about you? Snacks or nah?
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting question because I feel like when we think about snacking in the traditional sense, I wouldn't say that I'm a consistent snacker, but I think something that Jack mentioned and something that Gen Z has done is really evolved sort of the definition of what it means to snack and what a snack looks like. So kind of going from snacking being more so a form of convenience and function to more of this form of indulgence. And as Jack said, this form of treat culture and treating yourself. So I think just kind of looking at snacking in that sense and sort of seeing snacking as a treat, I'm definitely someone who loves to treat myself like every single day. And that comes in a ton of different forms, whether it's like getting ice cream during the workday because I'm bored and I want, a little bit of a pick me up, or getting a Starbucks cold brew at like 6 p.m. because I had a long day of work and I want to treat myself. So I think it's really become more so this form of like feel good indulgence and this way of like using snacks as a way to just treat yourself and just get through the day.
I like it. All right, Zach, what about you?
I love a snack. I do. I'm definitely partaking if there's a snack. Yeah, like it's a motivator for me. It's fun. It's a little treat. For me specifically, if it's a sweet treat at the end of the day, I'm not going to say no if you offer it to me. So yes, absolutely.
I am the same way. Never met an ice cream that I didn't like.
They hate to see us coming.
Let's do an audience question on snacks. Elizabeth in Philadelphia asks, what kinds of snacks do you love the most and why? Is it the flavor, how it makes you feel, or something else that makes you keep coming back for it? Jess, let's start with you here. What's your favorite snack? What resonates with you?
Yeah, I think in terms of this question, I feel like snacking for me is really like anything that makes me feel good in the moment. And it's just so random based off of what I'm craving at that specific time of the day. So I think like a snack that I got the other day was, I was craving like a cookie from a local New York coffee shop. So I went there and got like a matcha chocolate chip cookie. And that was just like everything that I needed as like an afternoon pick me up. But in other times I'll just go and see what's in my fridge. And sometimes I'll just eat straight up cheese. And that, gets me through the afternoon as well. So I think I'm a very random snacker, but it's just very based off of like what I want in that exact moment. And so that changes like every second of the day.
Zach, what about you? Do you have a go-to?
I don't know if it's always my go-to, but you know what I do appreciate recently is a little bit of variety. I love a bag of Chex Mix. I do. And all the pieces are fun. I love the pretzels. I love the little breadsticks. It's all good. Um, or like even like a Sour Patch Kid. Like I don't love the green all the time, but it's the variety. I want the blues. I'm hunting for the blues and the reds. But yeah, I think that's fun that a snack has a little bit of variety. That's a go-to for me.
Oh, that's interesting. I like this. Okay, Jack, what about you? Because you also were like, I like some variety. I want to get a little bit of everything.
Yes, I love some variety. I was like kind of a chubby kid growing up, and so my mom would always have 100-calorie snack packs, and so still go super hard on a 100-calorie snack pack. They have these ones that are like I forget what the name is, but it's like a cookie with a hole in the middle, and they're mini, and they have chocolate under it. I still love those. And then I also think like there's these Trader Joe's like mini crunchy cheddar things that are so good. But anything in the snack aisle at Trader Joe's, I'll for sure throw down on. So yes.
I'm the same way. I like if it's in a pack already, I'm like, fabulous. Like,
Yes.
have that and move on. Um, do you guys have any thoughts on like snack food collaborations? I know that we have seen like an Oreo Coke kind of a thing. I think there was like Rita's and a Sour Patch Kids and Rita's Ice kind of a thing. So do you guys like to see Goldfish always has like interesting flavors, right? So do you guys like to see those interesting crossovers, or are you still just like, no, I want like the original, the tried and true kind of a thing? Jack, can you get us started here?
Yeah, I definitely like to see the crossovers. I think it makes more of an impression on me if I haven't seen the brand or the snack in a while. So if it's a snack that I like haven't eaten in forever, and then they partner with some like a huge celebrity or they do a big collab with a different brand, I think it's a tactic that you see in like across all of marketing, but it kind of brings it back to the forefront of your mind if the brand hasn't like been relevant to you lately. But I'm all for partnerships. I think a lot of it's been around for a long time, so it's a little bit saturated. So I think brands just have to get like creative in how you're going to do it now. And you want to use, if you're working with a celebrity, another brand, you have to have that insight to like understand if your audience is going to like it before you start. And that gives you like a better foot forward for whatever the partnership's going to be.
That makes sense. Jess, Zach, anything from you guys? Do you like the crossovers?
Yeah, I can go. I love a good collab just in general. I feel like for Gen Z that really captures our attention. The more unexpected, the more absurd and bizarre, the better. I think I've been seeing a lot of just collabs in the food like crossover with beauty space. I love food, I love beauty, so that's something that I'm definitely seeing a lot of. Something crazy that I saw earlier this summer that I've been telling everyone is like Erewhon doing a partnership with Vacations sunscreen and creating a sunscreen smoothie. So definitely saw that, thought it was so weird. Never thought that I would be able to drink drink my sunscreen. So I think they were able to pull that off and make it cool. And I just think it's a really ripe space for brands to play in, especially with food really at the center, because it's such an important part of like Gen Z's identity and who we are.
I have not seen this personally, but they are really missing something if there wasn't like whipped cream on the top of that. Like that's the whole thing with Vacation, obviously.
Yeah.
Zach, what about you?
I love the chaos. I think it's fun. I think it's unexpected. And Gen Z likes that. Like a Sour Patch Kid Oreo, chaotic, but it piques my interest. And I'm going to try it. Even if, it's not my favorite or whatever, I think Gen Z likes variety. And when they log onto social, they kind of expect what they're going to get from brands. So I think when brands are playful and do something different, it's fun, and that's like successful in my mind. Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, I'm glad you said social because we're gonna come to that. First, we gotta do fast food, Gen Z and fast food. Jess, let's start with you here. Are you a fast food fan? And when are you eating it? Are you like, it's my morning, my lunch, my late night?
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of fast food. I feel like I've always just like really, really loved fast food. I think because my parents never let me eat it growing up. So I think now it's kind of like everything I want to eat whenever I have an option for a meal. But I think just in terms of, convenience and taste and affordability, I'm definitely going to, healthier fast food type options for lunch during the work week. So like a Kava or a Naya or maybe a local bodega in New York. But then I also have just insane late night cravings as well. I'm someone who goes out on the weekends. So I'm always getting like a late 2 a.m. sort of meal too. And so that's always, fulfilled by a Taco Bell type situation or a New York slice, or just like local chains that are in New York as well that just really hit the spot. So I'm a big, big fan of fast food. I love it. It's great. It tastes good. It's fun. It's novel. It's exciting. So yeah.
Jack, what about you? Thoughts on fast food?
Yes. Okay. So I obviously love fast food. I'm the same as Jess. Love to go out on the weekends. So definitely get some like late night Jack in the Box or Taco Bell. I think it's, you've seen it, I think a lot on social media, like Chili's has played into a lot. It's gotten expensive. So that's like my only hold off on it right now. I'll still get it, but it's so much more expensive than it used to be. Like I grew up with the dollar menu and stuff like that, which I think we've kind of slowly seen trickle away. So I think the rising cost is like concerning a little bit because the quality is obviously a little bit less than what you'd get at like a sit-down restaurant. But yeah, definitely still down for some late night fast food.
Zach, what about you?
Well, to your first question, Erica, I'm thinking about when I want to eat fast food, and it's when I'm watching The Real Housewives. And when I'm watching, I will probably also do a little Taco Bell. That's going to do it for me. Whether that is like a Doritos Locos taco or something in that vein. Definitely with a little bit of entertainment. I think that's fun.
I like this. Okay, so Zach, coming back to your comment on social,
Yeah.
we have another audience question. I love this. I think this is great. They're anonymous, but how important is social media presence for a restaurant when you decide where to eat? Have you ever like seen some, and I'll open this to you guys, but have you ever seen something on social, and I guess it could be, fast food, sit down, fast casual, even snacks, and you're like, I saw this on social. We have to go try it.
It's a really good question. I'm probably going to go eat there regardless if I'm in the mood for it. But what I will say is I do appreciate when restaurants or brands have a personality. And even if they have a little bit of lore and they're entertaining for me when I'm on the feeds, I think that that's really cool. I also think if you're going to do fun things to incentivize people to show up, even better. Like, I know these restaurants aren't my friends, but if they're going to care about the same things that I do, if they tap into the same fandoms that I'm a part of, if they're a Swiftie, I might show up and love them even more for it. So I'm there, but I do think it's really important.
Interesting. Jess, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's important, just social in general, and for restaurants to have those I can't speak presences, because I'm someone who is always looking for kind of like what's next and discovering, different parts of the food scene, especially just being in New York where there's so much diversity there. So I definitely use social media as sort of like my search engine, the way that I'm discovering these new restaurants and sort of like learning about them. So I think just to be relevant and kind of front of mind for Gen Z, it's really important to have a presence, especially on social, to really fuel that discovery for us.
Yeah, 100%. Jack, let me bring this question to you because like working in social, I think this is really fascinating. And Zach, you have touched on this a little bit, but I want to like dig deeper into this. So you all work with brands on social, and it seems very normal now for us to see food brands with a personality, and people kind of have learned like, oh yes, like it's Wendy's does the roast, or like Nutter Butter has some unhinged content, and like people have come to know or like expect that from them. As folks like who are behind some of these, one, what is it like to kind of have that funny personality at work? But then two, like, why does Gen Z like this? Why is Gen Z okay with like, yeah, there's got to be a brand person, like a brand has a persona, and I'm okay with that. Jack, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I think it's super interesting. I mean, Gen Z, we grew up with social media. I think we're probably one of the first generations that had it from such a young age. Like, I remember being in third grade and begging my mom to let me have a Facebook. And so I think that we're very keen to, what social media is. I remember when it first started, like, you just followed people you knew or like a celebrity that you knew. Influencers weren't even a thing yet. And now it's evolved to so much. And so I think, especially for Gen Z, we're very protective over our feeds. And so when you see a brand, you kind of immediately want to scroll past. And so I think for brands to break through, you have to have a personality, like whether it's Wendy's being snarky. I think like Chili's likes to like poke fun at fast food and like being expensive on Twitter or X. And so I think you have to have a personality to break through Gen Z because they're just going to keep scrolling if you don't. So like Gen Z requires you to be creative. We require you to like break through our feeds in order for us to like stop scrolling and look at it. And I think it's kind of because we equate reading or looking at the content to like some sort of monetary value, like whether it's our time or whether we're giving it back to the brand. So it's super crucial to be able to do it, especially if you want to attract Gen Z. And like going back to the first part of your question, it's so fun to be able to do it for Chili's and kind of like bringing us back into the culture, and like social media landscape has been amazing. So it's so fun.
Zach, what about you? And for those who may not know, you are one of the brains behind Nutter Butter here. So I'm interesting to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, just one of them. I totally agree with what Jack was saying. Like, Gen Z does not like to feel like they are being marketed to, and you definitely need to give them something. I think they're expecting something if they're going to go out of their way to follow a brand on social media, right? Like, it's not a friend or a family member. So, for a brand like Nutter Butter, the value that we're bringing is definitely a sense of entertainment while still making the product like the star. We give them like stories and lore and like twists and turns. And to your first question, Erica, like it's a lot of fun. Like I can promise in the brainstorms, me and my team are giggling a lot. And I think you see that come through in the content. And so people have fun. And like social media needs to be fun at the end of the day. So that's definitely something I think Gen Z cares about.
For sure. Jess, what about you and your work at Edelman?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think the Nutter Butter content is absolutely hilarious and bizarre, but it's in the best way. But yeah, for Edelman, I mean, I think just to answer the question on more of like a Gen Z, like theoretical level, I think just like food is so much part of our identity, but Gen Z has really turned that identity into more of this like passionate fandom for the food brands that they love and sort of seeing food more as this like badge of individuality. And so I think an example of work that Edelman has done, we helped General Mills launch their loaded cereal line earlier this year, and we really leaned into the trend of maximalism that Gen Z love, the trend of get ready with me's in the morning, and created or launched the line with not just the cereal product, but also with this like decadent crown-shaped cereal bowl and this robe that you could also wear while you're eating your cereal. So I think it just goes to show that it's so much more than just the product. It's the full experience of the product. It's leaning into these trends that Gen Z love and really tapping into their behaviors and their personality to create like this whole sort of brand world and experience for them that they can kind of take back to who they are and kind of expressing themselves.
Okay, great. You could not have teed me up better, Jess. I'm going to open this to anybody, but I wanted to ask about food merch. So I feel like it's so common now. We see a lot of brands who maybe they have a new campaign, perhaps it's themed, but there's hoodies, there's hats, there's, there is merch associated with these brands now. How do you all feel personally about food merch? Is it kitsch? Is it cool?
I think kitsch is cool in a way, right? Like, aren't they kind of the same? One thing that I think immediately when you ask that question, Erica, is I think of the ones that come from like, not to get like marketing jargony, but like the fan insights or whatever. Like, I think it's so clever that Chipotle leaned into the fact that people steal their napkins and like their forks and like all of that stuff. And I don't know if y'all remember like the napkin holder that can go in your car that they made. You can't like wear it, but I kind of would like one. I think that that's really cool. Yeah.
I totally agree. I think to your point, Zach, like having an audience insight, we just launched a like 2-person fried mozzarella costume for Halloween that like pulls apart so it looks like a cheese pull. So that came from our insight of like the triple dippers gone viral on TikTok. We've gotten like a ton of views from it, and most of it has come from this cheese pull where you pull the cheese off, it goes off screen, and it's just kind of this experience that people have in a restaurant that they love. So I love it. Like I just launched a campaign on it on Monday, so I obviously love it, especially right now. But I think you have to have a really good audience insight, and it's fun, especially for people that are like huge brand fans. Like more times than not, they're going to want your merch. So I think it's really fun.
Very nice. All right, I want to ask too, as folks that see a lot of social in foods, are there other food brands that you don't work on whose marketing has like caught your eye? Is there somebody like, this is real? Like I don't know. I admire their social content. I think they're doing a really good job. Jess, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I think I'm biased because I love Taco Bell so much, but I also just think their social content and the activations that they do are just really resonant with Gen Z. They're interesting. And I think what they do really well is sort of take a conversation that's happening online, they turn it into sort of this real life experience to then generate more of that cultural currency that then sort of gains more momentum back online. So I think an example that I really loved was Doja Cat sort of tweeting at Taco Bell to bring back the Mexican pizza, and they partnered with her to do that. And then that was just like one of the most viral food moments last year. So I think there's a really interesting play there of using social to kind of inform what's happening in the real world and just kind of bringing it back to really generate more of that momentum and that fandom and really breaking through the noise.
Very nice. Zach, Jack, anybody that you admire?
Yeah, I love Dunkin'. I think they do such a good job with their organic content because they always have a brand truth or an audience insight that they're working into like a scrappy looking meme, but it all comes together so beautifully where like it's such like they could be pushing a product or pushing a new deal that they have, but they make it look so effortless, which is so hard to do. But yeah, I love Dunkin'.
Very nice. Okay. And Zach, what about you?
I love the Dr. Pepper Instagram account. I think they do a meme like no other. And I think what's so good about them is that if you don't see at Dr. Pepper at the top of the meme, it does kind of feel like a meme you could see on your own personal explore page or like you would share with your friends. So I think that's so good. Also, working on Nutter Butter, we've gotten a lot of tags about the KFC Portugal TikTok account. If you all have not seen it, I need you to go see it because they're doing some really fun, surreal stuff. It's excellent. Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, so we've done snacks and we've done like QSR and fast food. So let's talk about groceries now. How do you get your groceries? Are you still in person? Are you, Instacart or DoorDash kind of a thing? Let's see. Zach, let's start with you.
Yeah, I still do love to strut down a grocery store aisle. I think that it's very fun. And like sometimes you just want to pick up the necessities, but sometimes you really want to go all out on a charcuterie board. And so you're going to get all the fixings. And I think that that's fun. It's sort of like, a thing to do in your week. Yeah.
Jess, what about you?
Yeah, I've tried to get into this habit of making like Sunday nights my grocery shopping nights because otherwise I literally won't have any time to go during the week or I won't prioritize it in my week. So I've been having a lot of fun like finding recipes online and on social and kind of like curating a little like recipe book for the week and then going to like a Whole Foods or Trader Joe's and getting those ingredients. But other than that, if I don't make it to my Sunday night grocery store situation, I'm a really big like Uber Eats girl. I love ordering food because once again, I love fast food and I love sort of like that experience. So yeah, it kind of is very it's either one or the other. So
we're aspirational, but also we love not doing the dishes.
Exactly.
100%. 100%.
Very aspirational.
Okay, Jack, what about you? How are you getting your groceries?
I never ever like get my groceries delivered or anything, which is probably like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people do now, but I'm kind of the same as Jess. Like I have to go on like a Sunday or a Monday, if I don't, then I'm just eating out all week. And like I'll only go to the grocery store once. Like my mom goes to the grocery store every day and she like barely cooks, which is so weird. But I can only like I'll only go once during the week. I'm not going to go back for anything else. So yeah, I think I'm a weird grocery shopper though, but I feel like, yeah, I have to go once a week and like always to Trader Joe's just to get like some necessities that I can make throughout the week.
Makes sense. All right. I wanted to ask too, shifting away from groceries, I want to talk about Gen Z, the perception that Gen Z is very open to like food from other cultures. And I have seen a lot of data on this that like spice is really popular among Gen Z. So let's talk about spicy food. Are you guys spicy food fans? And how are you getting your spicy food? Because some people are like, oh, I like, Sichuan cuisine or something like that. But other people are like hot sauce. Like we are a hot sauce household. There's like 5 hot sauces in my fridge kind of a deal.
Yeah, I can go. I mean, I love spicy food. I mean, I grew up eating it, so I think I have an extremely high spice tolerance, but I love that it's becoming more of a thing, and that people are more open to trying spicy food. And I think that just trying different cuisines that kind of are really grounded in that spice taste and flavoring. There's this restaurant in New York that's like everything on the menu is extremely spicy, and people kind of go as like a fun sort of experience where you're basically crying at the end of it. So I think we're just really leaning into like these new experiences and kind of just like very open to the different flavors that are out there now.
Zach, what about you? Spice?
I'm
Yeah.
okay with, oh, go ahead, Zach.
No, you go.
Yeah, I'm like okay with like a little spice. I would say my tolerance isn't that high, but I'm from the South, like I'm from Texas, so like I like can put like Frank's Red Hot, like buffalo sauce on anything. But yeah, I think to Jess's point, like I think it's almost like a competition if you go with your friends, like who can eat the spiciest thing if it's like 1 through 5. So it adds elements to that like dining experience.
Nice.
Yeah, I love spice. Like if I'm getting pho, I'm gonna try to make it as spicy as I can possibly stand by the end of eating it. It makes me feel alive. It does. Like it's fun. It's delicious. Definitely spice.
Very nice. All right. I think we have time for one more question. We'll do kind of like a forward looking one. I think this might have been an audience question as well. What trends in food are you guys currently watching or watching into next year? Jess, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think a macro trend that I'm seeing a lot, just kind of that's been built by a lot of different micro trends that are happening on social, is this idea of like people just wanting to break the rules of food and really seeing food as a form of rebellion. We're seeing this with like girl dinner and sort of replacing meals with snacks, as we talked about, or treat culture, just indulging ourselves whenever we want to, whenever we feel like it, or just exploring with fusion foods and combining different ingredients and flavors together. So I think there's something really interesting happening in this space where people are eating what they actually want to eat versus like what they think is perceived as socially acceptable. So I think there's going to be a lot more rebellion that's happening, a lot more rule breaking when it comes to food. And I'm excited to see kind of like what trends come out of that and sort of what brands are going to do in that space.
Very nice. Zach, what about you? What trends are you watching?
It's a good question. I really like when a food trend meets like entertainment and chaos a little bit. Because, right, like food is messy and we eat snacks when we're scrolling on social. So if I see someone with like a snack in the shower and the snack is just completely drenched and it's like maybe a little bit gross, but it's fun, it's entertaining. I'm watching till the end. And also, that might make me think sort of like subliminally about the snack the next time that I'm in the grocery store. So definitely the chaotic side of things. I think that's something we'll see more in 2025. Who knows?
Very cool. All right, Jack, what about you?
Yeah, two things. I think what Zach said, I think you'll see a lot more brands get super creative and like try to like break the boundaries on social, just because I think their snack and food brands are getting more attention. And so they like people that aren't doing it are going to want to start doing it. And then the second thing is I think influencers, specifically like for food brands, like eating on camera, trying new products. I think brands partnering with like foodie creators to do stuff like that or like put their brand out there on TikTok and on Instagram is going to continue to be a super like major pressure point that people are going to want to attack just because I think, you know, you see if you partner with a really big foodie, other people are going to do it. And then you have a flood on your TikTok of whatever menu item you see. So I think that's going to be like a really big trend next year is brands just continuing to partner with big foodie creators to launch things or just put their brand back out there.
Very nice. And we will have to leave it there. I know we could keep going, but thank you again to Jack, Zach, and Jess for their food thoughts. A reminder to our audience that you can check out adage.com/Gen Z Voices to read more and watch previous roundtables. And we will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.